irrespective of how we want to think of it, right? I think there is a huge problem from the north of Nigeria. And a lot of the time, I ask myself, you see all these things that for those of us who believe that Tinubu should not be made to continue from 2027, and then there are several conversations in the public place, and then sometimes I sit to ask, okay, beyond my emotions, beyond my interest, what is the most viable political arithmetic to getting Tinubu out of office? Is to maybe use um, the North, right? Use the North to sack him, since that's what they also used in 2015. And of course, and I say this sometimes, and I sit here to tell you guys, to saying that for 2027, Tinubu used the North to getting the government of the country in 2015. We may also have to use the North to getting the government in 2027. However, now this is it. We will be ready to sacrifice whatever time we are giving to them, because I'm scared. I'm telling you, what what development means to Northerners is different from what development means to Southerners, and I say that with all humility, because this is use. That's Kano State governor, and then he's empowering over 1,700 Kano women with goats. And so I don't know. Sometimes I sit to ask, who made these people? Well, because I see, I've been privileged to work with some Northerners, and I appreciate like I say, and I say that everywhere. The average Northerner may not be really exceptionally brilliant at anything, but if you find the one that is, it'll be exceptional. And check Nigerian political terrain. If you find a Northerner who is really smart and intelligent, the person will be really smart and intelligent. Very. It's a long trust into brilliance and mind-boggling smartness. Long trust. Then the major in the other divide, or those in the other divide, fall very deep. Okay, if you come back to the south, you may not find very deep down that you might meet a lot of people in the middle class of, okay, not so brilliant, not so, and then of course there are not people both sides. But that is where I worry. A lot of those guys currently in the political terrain in the north are really not as smart as you think. So I'm putting this out for those of you to know. Based on political arithmetic, and in defeating Bola Ahmed Tinubu, or pursuing him and his cronies out of government, out of Aso Villa in 2027, we may have to use the North. This is one viable way. One, there are several others, but that may be one viable way. But we must understand clearly that in doing this, we may have to sacrifice whatever time this Northern go to. Just the way Bola Ahmed Tinubu had to sacrifice 8 years of Buhari. It was inept, it was embarrassing, it was one of the stupidest period of the country's history. Something that a single dash, it is, as in there is nothing to write home about in that particular 8 years. It was the worst 8 years of any country can ever imagine. However, what I mean is that we may also have to look into that particular direction in 2027. Whether it is 4 years, whether it is 8 years, God forbid, actually, whatever that period, because the current crop of politicians in the north end, because what they call empowerment, what they call development, what they call growth, whatever it is that democracy means to them, is actually absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of the time I say, okay, for example, we want to do a northern, like I said, one of these roads to taking out Tinubu will be getting using the north to do. Imagine if we are going to get a northerner, we may just likely get a bad one in the market. But of course, and then do the political innuendos. Of course, there is still the problem of the electoral system and all of that. Yeah. So all other things being equal, permit me to say that we may just have to waste some years. We may have to, because it's important. Because whoever Tinubu decides to hand over to in 2031, if he gets there, will also be another Dundee, so to speak, because forget English, forget followership, forget impact, forget political influence. A lot of these guys, politicians already from. I'm not saying that they are better in the South, but the concentration of idiotic politicians in the North is too high. This was what I was avoiding. I avoided this thing in this video. I don't know why it came out, but it's too high, quite too high. So, whatever will go to the North to do, because I've asked myself, apart from Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, and it wasn't that he was an excellent economic driver, but then, for example, primarily looked at solving the issues of militancy in south of Nigeria. Then his principles about of rule of law, separation of power, due process helped in gaining trust in our justice system, so to speak. So most of those rigged elections at those times, his emergence as president helped to ensure that his government did not interfere with the justice system, and judges had a free day by going ahead to do quite very thorough work. And Olusegun Mimiko, Adams Oshomole, Rotimi Amici, a couple of all these other guys had a chance. Even Peter Obi, for example, all of them had chances. And thank God for Goodluck Jonathan that continued from there, had chances to have become governors, as it were, against all of these dramas that were happening. And so, credit to Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. But if you look around and you say, you can't count so much. Maybe too much of them in the military era, but Buhari, disaster, of course, major disaster. Not somebody that want to even. If I have a chance, I'll clean Buhari's name from ever being president. I write his name as one-time local government chairman, one of the smallest local government. Because it's embarrassing. I can't look at Buhari's profile and consider that man had the chance to be Nigerian president. So like I said, the moral of this video is that we may have to sacrifice going to the north and just waste that 4 years so that we can take it over from them. Because with all this kind of empowerment I see coming from the north, wheelbarrow, the other days, noodles as Indomie, another time one governor gave shoemaker kit and all of that, and they say it's empowerment. I don't know how they do this marriage of North and South protectorate, but it was a mistake. Anyway, later.